You've been sleeping more, but you're still tired. You can't focus, you're behind on everything, and the guilt is crushing you. But somehow, you still can't get motivated. You look around and think, why can't I just get it together? This isn't just I'm tired. This is I've been in bed for 12 hours and I still wake up exhausted. This is even the smallest task, like sending an email or brushing my teeth, feels impossible. This is I used to care, I used to try. Now I just don't have it in me anymore. And eventually, you call yourself lazy. The worst part, you're not allowed to stop. You still have deadlines, expectations, people who depend on you. But taking time to rest and recover, that threatens your job, your grades, even your relationships. So you keep pushing, you keep showing up, numb, disconnected, like you're living in third person. This is your nervous system begging for help. I work with so many students, professionals, and caregivers, people who are deeply motivated, even high achieving, with every reason and value to keep going, and yet suddenly they can't function like they used to. What they're experiencing isn't a lack of willpower. This is burnout. And the scariest part, burnout and laziness can look exactly the same on the surface. But if we don't start calling it out for what it really is and start recognizing the difference, we'll keep blaming people, including ourselves, for what's actually a silent epidemic, one that's quietly spreading through schools, homes, and the offices. We can't keep blaming people and ourselves for breaking down in a system that's not built for real recovery. This only cultivates stigma and keeps us silently struggling until it's too late. It's time we talk about it. If you've been struggling with these feelings, you're not alone. And if you find this helpful, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to keep raising awareness and improve insights into mental health and well-being for all. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm Albert, a licensed mental health therapist with over a decade of experience helping individuals navigate mental health challenges. Today, we're talking about the clear signs of burnout so that we stop dismissing it for laziness. A recent survey in the United States found that over 52% of adults are experiencing burnout. Among millennials and Gen Z, the number spikes even higher. And in 2023, one survey reports 76% of employees said they feel burnt out. And it's not just adults anymore. Teens are burning out too, and fast. In the US, 27% of teenagers report feeling completely burned out. 81% feel intense pressure around school, body image issues, future plans, and fitting in. The CDC reports that nearly 40% of high schoolers felt persistent sadness or hopelessness in the last year. That's almost half of our teens. And globally, it's not any better. The World Health Organization estimates that 1 in 7 adolescents worldwide live with a diagnosable mental health condition. Most never get help. So let's get one thing straight. Burnout is not laziness. Burnout is a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by prolonged, unrelenting stress. It's when your system is overworked, not undermotivated. It's even recognized by the World Health Organization as an occupational phenomenon, and it can have serious effects on your well-being. Look, laziness is a choice. Burnout is a shutdown. Laziness is an unwillingness to do something despite having the ability. Burnout is when the ability itself starts to collapse. It's when the system that once worked starts deteriorating from overuse, from chronic pressure, and from never having the time or space to recover. Now more than ever, we need to stop calling it lazy when what people really are is depleted. Most people can't tell the difference. So let's break this down. Here are 7 telltale signs that what you're experiencing right now isn't actually laziness, but burnout. Number 1, you're always tired, even after resting. Back during the height of the pandemic, I was juggling 3 part-time jobs while trying to launch my private practice. I was grinding nonstop, still exercising like an athlete, still eating well, doing everything I was supposed to be doing. My productivity level was second to none. I was disciplined, but I would wake up after 8, sometimes 9 hours of sleep and still felt like I got hit by a truck. I would sit on the edge of the bed thinking, what's wrong with me? I kept thinking, maybe I'm just lazy, or I'm no longer cut out for this job. But deep down, I knew it wasn't that. I was running on fumes. I've seen this a lot, especially in high achievers. People with high standards, high output, who care deeply, give constantly, and never let themselves stop. It's not just a workload. It's the pressure, the emotional weight, the invisible expectations we carry in silence. Burnout-related fatigue doesn't go away with just rest. It's not fixed by a nap or even a full night of sleep because your brain and body are stuck in stress mode. When you are burned out, your nervous system doesn't get a chance to dial back down. That's why rest doesn't always feel restful. And in therapy, I see this all the time, especially with people who are doing all the right things and still feel drained. If sleep and rest don't help, it's not laziness. Chronic stress can shift your baseline and leave your body in a constant state of depletion. Stick around because sign number 5 is something almost no one talks about, but it's one of the earliest signs I spot in my therapy sessions, and most people completely miss it. Number 2, you feel numbed or disconnected. I once had a patient who said, I feel disconnected from everything, like I'm going through the motion every day as if I'm on autopilot. It feels like I'm watching my life outside my body. When I heard that, I knew right then it wasn't a lack of motivation or discipline or laziness. That's depersonalization, a red flag for burnout and emotional trauma. When you go numb and feeling detached, your nervous system is shutting down to survive. Depersonalization is a defense mechanism that kicks in when your brain is overwhelmed by prolonged chronic stress or trauma. Instead of staying stuck in fight or flight mode, your body hits the brakes and shifts into shutdown mode. This leaves you feeling empty, unmotivated, and cut off from yourself and others. When disconnection shows up, it's not a flaw to push through. It's a flag to slow down. Your system isn't asking you to try harder. It's asking you to pause, to reset, and to notice that something needs care because it crashes. Now, the next sign often shows up in people who used to be incredibly driven and motivated, and now feels like a completely different version of themselves. Number 3, you've lost passion for things that you used to love. I had a teen patient who used to love playing guitar and writing music. It was his escape, something that helped him feel grounded. But over time, the pressure from school, social expectations, and life in general started building up. He stopped playing guitar altogether. And when I asked him why, he said, I don't even want to pick it up anymore. I'm just gonna sound awful. He thought he was losing who he was. He was frustrated at himself for letting it go. One of the clearest differences between burnout and laziness is that people who are burnt out used to care a lot. They had drive, they had passion and curiosity. Whether it's a creative outlet, a sport, a hobby, or even your job, burnout can strip the joy from what once made you feel alive. And here's the part most people don't talk about. You can start to resent what you used to love, not because it's bad, but because of how far you pushed yourself for it. You loved it so much and you gave it everything, and now you're too empty to enjoy it. If something you used to love now feels heavy, frustrating, or meaningless, it's not that your passion disappeared, it's that your nervous system is protecting itself. Number 4, you're more easily irritable and emotional. Let me ask you a question. Do you find yourself short-tempered and easily irritated and don't know why? I remember losing it over a spilled coffee once, not because of the mess, but because it was the 3rd thing that went wrong that morning and I had nothing left in my tank. It wasn't about the coffee, and a lot of the time, your irritability isn't about what's happening out here. Burnout leaves your emotional window of tolerance razor thin. That short fuse is not you being dramatic, it's your body screaming for relief. Being moody and easily irritable are common, but often dismissed signs of burnout. The irritation makes it hard for you and others to see what's really happening. It's triggering for you and those around you. So if you're feeling dysregulated and start to have trouble controlling your emotions, especially when it never used to be a problem for you, this might be the reason why. And how can you tell the difference between people who are lazy? They're usually very relaxed and very chill, unbothered, unfazed, and perfectly fine with doing nothing at all. So if small things are triggering big reactions, your system isn't overreacting, it's overwhelmed. Sign number 5 is one of the earliest signs I spot in therapy, but most people miss it. Number 5, you're withdrawn from others and letting yourself go. A patient once told me, sometimes I forget to shower or brush my teeth. I get home from work, go straight to video games, eat whatever fast food I can grab, and that's my night. This was a patient who used to be highly motivated and disciplined, often excelling in several aspects and areas of his life. One of the most overlooked but serious signs of burnout is when you start pulling away from others and letting your self-care slip. You might stop grooming, skip meals, or You'll only eat junk because cooking or even eating feels like too much. And even the simplest task feels like a chore. But this isn't who you've always been. And that's the key difference. Burnout changes you. It chips away at your energy, motivation, even your sense of self. Burnout has a beginning, often with people who used to care a lot. Neglecting hygiene or avoiding people doesn't mean you're giving up. The key takeaway here is burnout isn't who you are. It's what happened to you. If you used to care, show up, and feel motivated, but now you feel numb, tired, and disconnected, that's not laziness. Number 6, you keep blaming yourself for not being better. I work with a teen who used to be a straight A student. When they burned out, they called themselves a failure and that they're being lazy. What they really needed was someone to say, you're doing too much and it's okay to slow down. Shame, like many mental health conditions, is one of burnout's harshest side effects. It convinces you that you're the problem, when in reality, you've been operating under unsustainable conditions for far too long. And it doesn't help that we live in a world that is obsessed with hustle and productivity, but rarely teaches the equal importance of rest and recovery. Even the people closest to us, parents, friends, partners, can unintentionally make us feel worse by calling it laziness or a lack of motivation. But the truth is, when your system is maxed out, no amount of just push it through will help. Think of it like this. An athlete who trains non-stop without prioritizing rest, they're setting themselves up for injury. Burnout is no different. When you push without pause, your body and your mind will eventually push back. The takeaway here is you're not failing, you're running on empty. Number 7, everything feels harder than it should. I once sat staring at an email for 30 minutes, just trying to start it. Not because I didn't know what to say, but because my brain felt like it was walking through mud. It wasn't procrastination, it was paralysis. Burnout impacts your executive functioning, your ability to plan, make sound decisions, initiate and complete tasks. You become forgetful and struggle to focus. You're not distracted or lazy, but your brain is overloading and glitching. That's why even the smallest decision can feel like climbing a mountain. This is cognitive fatigue. Science shows us that burnout is associated with reduced activity in the prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for attention, organization, and follow-through. It's like trying to run a marathon with a sprained ankle. Your brain needs repair, not more pressure. Burnout doesn't happen overnight. It develops gradually. It isn't a single moment. It's a slow, unraveling descent. Studies show that there are actually 5 major stages of burnout, each with increasing degrees of severity. The honeymoon phase, onset of stress, chronic stress, burnout, and then habitual burnout. Many begin experiencing symptoms as early as the 2nd stage, where stress becomes more frequent and optimism and motivation and performance starts to decline. And then by the final stage, burnout can become deeply ingrained, making recovery more challenging and increasing the risk of conditions like depression, anxiety, and like most health issues. Spotting signs of burnout early makes it easier for you to get help and recover from it. That's why it's so important to raise awareness and educate each other about burnout instead of simply dismissing it as laziness, like what most of us tend to do. And if we don't learn to spot the difference, we'll keep mislabeling a generation that's running on empty. So if you are or anyone you know may be suffering from burnout, please don't hesitate to reach out to a mental health professional today and talk to them about it. Also, consider taking a free burnout self-assessment to gain insight into your current state. I'll put the link down in the description along with other resources from credible sources you can check out. And of course, if you found this video helpful, hit the like button and drop a comment with your thoughts, experiences, and questions. It helps others feel less alone and maybe they'll see themselves in your story. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell. It's free and it generally helps get this message to more people who might need it. The bigger this channel grows, the more we can do to raise the bar for mental health content and push back against all the noise out there.